Each week, hospital settings experience an average of 2.5 breaches. These can go unnoticed if they're difficult to detect. Not everyone knows these occurs if it's through conversations of protected health information. It's easy for health professionals to get caught up in discussing PHI if they don't realize that they're violating the patient's privacy. This is a major problem since it could lead to a loss of patient trust, or it can have more serious issues for the hospital such as legal fines and terminated employees. To prevent this from happening, health professionals need to be careful when discussing PHI. Hi everyone, I'm Matt from eTactics, and today I'm going to share the 2 golden rules to follow when discussing protected health information. Before we get started though, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button below. While you're down there, hit that alert bell icon next to it as well so when we post new helpful content, you get notified. The first golden rule I have for you is to know who you're talking to. This involves more than just knowing their name. What I mean is to confirm that the person has the right to know the details that you're about to share with them. Just because someone works at a hospital doesn't mean that they can know all about the patient's condition. If this coworker doesn't need to have the information to provide care, then it shouldn't be shared with them at all. Before talking about PHI, make sure the details actually pertain to the employee. If it isn't someone who's relevant to the patient's care, chances are you shouldn't be discussing it with them. Knowing who you're talking to is just as significant when it comes to a patient's family and friends. Just because someone has visitors doesn't mean that people should know everything about the patient's condition either. The HIPAA privacy rule permits health workers to disclose PHI with relevant people in certain situations. If patients are able to give disclosure and make their own health decisions, they can agree or object to who knows their PHI. The best way to maintain this confidentiality is to have the patient identify the individuals with this permission. If that's not possible, a guardian or designated caregiver can point out these people to you. This way, you don't accidentally share it with the wrong visitor who you thought had authorization. The second golden rule is to not gossip. You shouldn't casually talk about PHI with staff, other patients, or even your family and friends. This is one of the most common reasons for HIPAA violations altogether. Everyone in a conversation needs authorization to know PHI. There are reasonable precautions to take when sharing, such as making sure unauthorized people can't overhear, and the information must be relevant for them to know. But gossiping about patients and their data is intentional misuse. It serves no purpose for the person's treatment. These are conversations that if someone overheard it, it would hurt the hospital's reputation. It creates a negative reputation if the staff is gossiping about a patient altogether. People won't end up trusting that the hospital maintains privacy if employees talk about someone out of the nosiness of themselves. By avoiding gossip, you protect patient confidentiality. You don't risk sharing anything unnecessary with someone that doesn't need to know. Even though protected health information is so sensitive, it still gets breached quite often. People aren't always aware that they're violating patient privacy as they're doing it. It's easy to get distracted by conversations and staff don't realize that they're violating HIPAA in the first place. To make sure this doesn't happen, always avoid unnecessary conversations about patients, especially with those who aren't authorized to know the information. If you'd like to learn more about protecting patient privacy, reach out to eTactics. And you already made it this far into the video, so you might as well like it, share it, and comment below. Well, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to our YouTube channel.